Hello, everyone, and welcome back once again to Disco Elysium. I, of course, am Wanda Wicks, she, her, and we're really in it now, folks. All the side quest stuff, well, most of it anyway, is out of the way, and we are going after the instigator, Ruby. First things first, actually. Let's take a look at these. You may recall, when we checked them out earlier, the game tried not so subtly to tell us that we should check them again while Kim is present.
6 crumbling petals rest on your palm. They're white, a bell-shaped crown.
What is this, Kim?
This is the Insulindian lily, called Mabel's or Lucille's tears during the Revolution. Girls used to pin these on soldiers before sending them off to battle.
This flower is a spring flower, but it's a bit early for that, isn't it?
Just in case you've forgotten, we found these here on the balcony, and they seem significant, even if Klasha doesn't think so. Who pinned them? Which side?
The revolutionaries, so the communards and the anarchists. White's their color, but the custom started in the suzerain's army, so it held meaning for the kingsmen too. It's about girls and boys more than sides. Girls sending off boys who are going to their deaths, then also dying themselves in the ruins from dysentery and consumption. It's a symbol of the Civil War.
War is hell. Does this flower blossom in early spring?
Yes, but not this early, not to my knowledge. It looks dried, preserved.
Is it a coincidence, it being on the roof?
Maybe. Maybe not. We'll see.
Very well.
The petals feel dry and fragile in your hand. Water flows under the channel bridge. Dark water. You rub your sides for warmth, but there is none.
Stand still.
The feeling recedes. Wait, have you noticed there's a war veteran playing a ball game on the plaza? You should ask him about the flowers.
Huh? I'll be honest, I didn't expect to get this. Alright. Well, maybe we will talk with Renee about the flowers. But first, let's take a look at this window. Now, this is going to be a visual calculus check. Let's get our viz calc on. We're wearing something that's bringing it down at the moment. Get rid of those. And I believe it's, yes, these. Do we have anything else? I mean, in theory, it wouldn't make sense for something other than glasses to affect this, but this already doesn't make sense to begin with. The whole mechanism of, oh, there we go. I do believe that's it. Alright. Window.
This window is pristine on the inside, unlike the one next to it. Light from the desk lamp reflects off the glass in an untarnished golden halo.
This is actually ludicrously easy for us right now. Because our visual calculus is sitting at a 9, and we have to hit an 11, and we have a +1. I really didn't need to waste time putting on the clothing. We get this no matter what. Except, of course, if we roll snake eyes.
Golden light melts away into the blue, glassy darkness of your mind. In it are 2 neon-lit shapes, a man and a woman on the single bed.
You may recall when this game first started, we made a similar visual calculus check just 1 floor below, and it showed us a graphic not unlike this. And that was when we threw our shoe out onto the balcony. You'll remember I made note of the fact that conceptualization referred to our shoes as 2 baby crocodiles reunited on our feet. And a similar thing happened here. A pane of glass was shattered, and 2 predators, perhaps innocent, perhaps not, but definitely carnivorous by nature, were separated. Let's see what our brain thinks.
A two-hearted spider.
What position are they in?
Like the witness said, the man is kneeling, the woman is on her back. It's the night of March 4th and a shot has just been fired.
Time for some trigonometry.
The man looks directly at the woman. The shot's possible directions converge in his mouth, a ray cast from somewhere outside, entering his brain.
Where does it come from?
From the roof outside, location A prime. The glass fractures around the bullet hole, shards face inwards like a corona behind the woman's back.
Inspect the ghostly figures.
The man does not know the bullet has entered his brain. He never will. Death comes faster than the realization.
Have a look at point A prime, the roof.
The ray cast from the man's mouth unravels into a fan of possible directions, all on the roof at first. The shot could have come from any of them. This is composite location A prime, most likely of the origin points.
Shouldn't there be gun residue outside?
There could have been. Then the rain and slush and wind washed it away. This was more than a week ago.
So I'm, 80% sure the roof is where the shot was made from?
72%, with an antique weapon that fires military-grade ammunition. A Belma-grave rifle, for example. This is a good short distance, but not too short. The perpetrator aimed with their back against the railing, or possibly kneeling for precision. This would explain why it only took them one shot. The lights were on in here. Outside it was dark. It was like shooting fish in an aquarium, a well-lit aquarium. The victim opened his mouth to let the bullet in. Neither of them would have seen anything outside in the darkness, too busy with their own bodies.
Could the shot have come from inside the room, a closer point?
Point X would contradict the woman's testimony, rendering the entire proposition void. These figures would be wiped out, Detective.
Which is not to say that it didn't happen, but it also would invalidate why we're doing this visual calculus check in the first place. Are there any arguments against A prime, the roof?
None that you've found thus far, but that doesn't mean there aren't any.
I do like the diagram here, showing the different angles all converging on Lely's mouth here. And then above, we have a diagram of the B points. Could there have been another point of origin further away?
That's a 28%, yes. In this model, the shot could have come from a greater distance. Nothing excludes the possibility. Should we extrapolate to include every possible point of origin in Martinez?
Extrapolate the radius to include all of Martinez.
According to your map of the district, this shot could have come from a wide angle of locations, starting with the northern edge of the abandoned boardwalk, ending with an islet in the bay. Let's call them B prime.
So we can see the map here. This is the Whirling and Rags. Here's the pawn shop where we jumped our car. This is the doomed commercial area. Here's the Cape Side Apartments. In this map, we have Joyce's boat. There's the church. Here's the boardwalk. Shot could have come from here. Here's Land's End, where the radio tower is, farthest north. Shot could have come from here. Here's the islet in the bay. We can't get there. We would need a boat. Either way, the shot passes in front of where we painted our mural. Something beautiful is going to happen. Like I said, that was an unimportant patch of wall, but a very important little alleyway. More precisely?
B prime for boardwalk, B double prime for Land's End, and B triple prime for the islet, Detective. There may be smaller points in between, but those are too fine to zoom in on.
Have a look at point B prime, the boardwalk.
700 meters away. The likeliest of these B positions, 20% chance. A skilled sniper could have made the shot, provided he had a safe sniper's nest. Even with the light on inside, we're talking military training. At that distance, the perpetrator would have had to take wind direction into account.
One of the interesting things about English and other similar languages, particularly in the context of this kind of detective fiction, is the sometimes accidental use of gendered pronouns. Somewhere in our mind, even though at present the chief suspect is a woman, we thought of the sniper as a he. Why did we do that? Have a look at point P double prime, Land's End.
1.2 kilometers away, the least likely of these positions. Let's say 3%. A truly skilled sniper could have done it, possibly from a tent. No, too far-fetched.
3%. Or, as we know from our own dice rolls, boxcars. And finally, have a look at point P triple prime, the islet.
1 kilometer away, a point beyond the docks, on an islet in the bay. The fort is ruined, but the perpetrator may have found a stable spot on the beaches surrounding it, where the concrete crumbles into the sea, as you saw in the coin-operated viewer. The shot would have been a small miracle, 5% likelihood. There is an extremely narrow field of view from the bay to the window, between Rue de Saint-Ghislain 10 and 33A. The angle would have been extreme, and access to the islets is questionable.
Indeed. Kim, do you think the shot could have come from further than the roof? In Martinez?
From where, precisely?
Let's say B prime, the boardwalk, B double prime, Land's End, B triple prime, the islet.
I see you have given this a lot of thought. Are those the locations you've singled out in addition to the roof? And what is the likelihood, in your opinion, that it came from a further distance?
Much less than from the roof, but still.
Okay, well, we should see if there is gunshot residue or sniper nests if we go down the coast. Rule these spots out one by one. It would be the diligent thing to do. Until then, personally, I'm going with the roof version. It fits the hidden path through the whirling. A simple hypothesis.
Blink. Alright, let's go check them out. Although we only have access to 2 of those 3 B locations. Actually, I'm gonna do this now. I was thinking I would wait until Kim was gone, but we're gonna be busy tonight, hopefully getting our gun back from the pigs and attending a communist meeting. So I might as well try it now. You see the yard below. The corpse is no longer there. Now, gonna gear up. We need electrochemistry. Same thing. Okay.
This medicine cabinet is full of wares. Sheets of pills, haphazardly stacked, one on top of the other. There's also a toothbrush somewhere in there.
That shower curtain rod there is where they temporarily hung Lely to keep him upright before Angus could carry him downstairs. Like I said, I don't think they picked Angus for his athleticism, more for ballast. Anyway, look at the toothbrush.
It's been used quite a lot, but not for scrubbing blood off towels. or anything else interesting, it seems. It's clean of chemical odors too. Just some dried toothpaste on the handle.
Let's look at the medications.
Pharmaceuticals line the shelves, sheet upon sheet of pill bottle next to pill bottle. Acetylic acid, APAP, eye drops, blood thinners.
There's quite the collection in here.
Anything of note?
Search the bottles.
Pill bottles rattle like bones as you search the cabinet. Paracetamol, histoperidol, something in a foreign language you can't read. Behind them, an unusually shaped nasal spray. Its label reads, Nacra. Nacra, this is used to treat opioid overdoses. Always handy to have around.
Nacra, opioid antagonist.
Interesting. That's used for diamorphine overdoses.
The lieutenant nods, then looks at the door.
You could say he's on the lookout.
Search the pill sheets.
Among some foreign, probably Messinian or Gotvaldian, marked red blister packs you find. What do you find? This is going to take a little know-how.
Pretty good odds, but certainly not guaranteed.
A bright orange bottle with peptide stamped on it, in sunny, happy letters. Jackpot, baby. That's the stuff you're looking for. Your palms begin to sweat just holding that little plastic container. And your chest swells with pride. Look, it's made right here in Revachol by San Baptiste, a proud Revacholian pharmaceutical company with great traditions.
What's so exciting about this orange bottle?
It's speed, man. Just what you were looking for. They call it dextroamphetamine and talk about psychological disorders. But what we're seeing here is some scientifically advanced trucker speed.
It's presumably the same thing as Ritalin or Adderall. It's the same effective ingredient, or at any rate it'll have a similar effect on our central nervous system. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's a type of speed. Take it in secret. I really hope Kim doesn't catch us.
Silently, the bottle slides into your palm. Then, as you turn, into your pocket. Feels so sleek and beautiful. You got it. Here comes the afterburner. Time to become a super detective again, Harry. Just put it in your sweaty little hand now.
Close the cabinet. Alright, just gonna steal some drugs from a possible murder suspect. No big deal. Completely normal cop behavior. Speaking of completely normal cops, let's talk to our partner.
Again? I can't believe this shit.
Do we have anything new?
Okay, why not? Let's do the old thing over again. We're not wasting time. There is no time.
Okay, the person who was shot and hanged, he may have been shot by the person who made it look like he was hanged.
A cover-up. Well, the author of the cover-up is the perp? Makes sense.
I know, right? But what's the motive?
You don't have a motive? Then the double cover-up seems too neat.
Yeah. Hey, why am I telling you these things?
I don't know. Why are you?
He gives you an odd look.
Oh my god, there's more. You want something more? What is it?
Well, our convenient amnesia is not going to let us talk to our partner like we know him. So, see you around. To the boardwalk. Pathfinding is weird. This, of course, is where we found the body a while ago. Stop messing with the coin viewer and hold on to something. The wind is so strong. The point where we acknowledge whether or not a shot could have been made should be around here somewhere. Just gotta find it. Much like with the pigs, I think I might be missing something. It's not going to be down here. Oh, maybe.
The remaining windows rattle from a strong gust of wind. They're covered in a thick layer of grime. They must have been like this for 40 years.
Okay, now this is going to be important. We're going to get a little bit of backstory from Kim about this. Try to see inside.
Dripping water falls from a high place. All you can see is the shadow of a collapsing staircase. There's rust and corrosion on the bars. They're foaming with it. And a small layer of white salt from the sea.
Lieutenant, can you make out what's inside?
No. I won't even try. You know,
He takes his glasses off.
I had a partner once. They called him Eyes, because he had to show me things. It's that bad.
Can you still shoot, though?
Well enough, actually. It's odd how that works. I'm no sharpshooter, but I pass my shooting courses 7 out of 10.
His hands lead the way when it comes to that. And his shoulders. It's reflex.
Note that he said, I had a partner once, called Eyes. We don't have to think. We don't have to guess why Eyes is no longer with Kim. Revachol is a tough place. There's Trent and McHale. I thought I already got all this stuff. Must have missed it. This is the boardwalk. Well, okay. Let's try Land's End first. If it doesn't trigger at Land's End either, then there's definitely something we're missing. Oh, there it is.
Is there something here that would indicate a sniper used this place as a nest for taking the shot? Just some urban detritus, a bottle, and a dilapidated old comms tower. In the distance you can hear the breakers roar.
I don't see it, Lieutenant W. Freitor. I don't see a person take a shot here and hit something there. In the whirling in rugs.
Maybe the campfire was used by the perpetrator?
To warm his hands before pulling the trigger? Perhaps. But anyone could have made this. The coast is specked with fires this time of year.
He looks around.
Truthfully, this seems like a very poor choice to take a 1.2 kilometer rifle shot from. Visibility is awful. There's water vapor everywhere. I think we can rule out Beatable Prime, was it?
Maybe the assailant climbed the comms tower, took the chute there?
It's not possible to climb that ladder. And even if it were, why? There's no platform up there to aim from.
The lieutenant looks up, raising his collar.
It does look extremely rickety, and wouldn't help much either.
What about the cigarette butts?
Those? A smoking assailant who favors Tumutiri to Astra or Joanne? Cigarette butts are everywhere. This is a common brand for all men.
Tiomotiri was a Revacholian colony on Ilmaran. The Suzerainties population was mostly Ilmaran Areopagites, up to 97%. The region was known for its tobacco export, hence the name.
I want to know a lot more
you
about
do?
this.
The butts you saw had a silhouette of a boy wearing a coffee hat, a tobacco picker. This boy is the Tiomotiri brand logo. Contemporary Revacholians prefer Juan, a local blend from the southern islands, or Astra, a legendary cigarette from Grad. Tiomotiri is favored by older men who like its old-fashioned paper filter tips, insane amount of tar, and the sweet smells of colonialism and halva.
Look over the water to the whirling in rags.
There, 1.2 kilometers over the cold water of the bay, blue from the distance and the air, you see the smallest rectangle, barely visible. A glowing light on the third floor of the whirling in rags. With binoculars, you would see a young woman's shape move behind the glass, her limbs long and slender.
We technically do have line of sight. It is not actually an impossible shot to make from here. Still, seems unlikely. This relay tower coordinates boat traffic in the bay. Barely. Okay, so whatever we have triggered to check the B prime locations, it is on. So I don't know. Oh, the boardwalk rises to your south. It casts its long shadow over you. Very nice. Even if they're not relevant to the plot, remember, we still want to get every single orb we can, because each one of those is 1 XP. Alright. One of the problems with the locked camera isometric perspective is that it's not really immediately clear how high up anything is. Presumably, we must assume that we could have made the shot from here because this boardwalk is pretty high up. Come on, visual calculus, where are you? There's a spot around here somewhere. I am on the boardwalk. This is the boardwalk. If we can't trigger it, I do have something else that we can do. You would think it would be from here. Surely we don't have to go all the way back here. Nope, that's not it. Come on, Harry. You're better than this. Alright, For whatever reason, the interface is not cooperating with us. That's fine. Like I said, we do have something else that we can do. Something that I tried to get earlier in the game, you may recall. We just weren't ready yet. We should be ready now. Let's go to our shack. Don't mind me, Kim. I'm just gonna go freshen up for a second. Nope. Still can't look under our own floorboards. Well, let's go look at the boy then. That's where Klasha kept her fake passport, supposedly. Oh. Could this be the boy Klasha told you about?
A metal and plastic contraption bobs up and down amidst the trembling reeds. At first, it just looks like trash, but if you look closer...
That over there must be the boy Klasha told us about, the one she hid her passport in. We should take a look.
Now you may recall, when we thought about this boy earlier, our Shivers check informed us that there was something...
Hidden things, secrets, lies.
Indeed.
Cold, air, tendons. Snapped the cords keeping the boy in place. A little longer and it would be floating somewhere out in the open sea.
That's right. Something's been messing with this. What?
Moves across the water, leaving no traces. You're cold again, as always.
Yes, but who or what is this?
Splendor.
We're lucky it's still here. A little longer and it would have floated away.
Indeed. Let's see what's inside.
Now, I felt really strange just now.
Mm-hmm.
No further response. All his concentration is on the contraption. Pick up the boy.
The boy is not tied to anything. The cords dangling from the bottom really have been torn or cut. You lift it out of the water easily, noticing how light it is.
Examine the plastic ball.
The number 11 has been written on the yellow plastic. It hasn't been in the water for very long, but it's already discolored and slimy with silt. A latch holds it close, but only just barely. The brittle metal of the latch has cracked.
Simple construction. Very unsafe.
Shake the boy.
There's something in there, splashing around.
Sniff the boy.
It smells like you would expect it to smell. A concentrated version of the coast. Salt, industrial slop and decay. The water this side of the peninsula is cleaner, actually. Smells a little salty.
Open the boy.
A shot glass's worth of seawater pours out. Some algae, and nothing else.
Well, damn.
No documents. Who do you think took them?
I have no idea.
The lieutenant taps his foot, frowning. This is a minor quirk. We know it was in the boy anyway.
Or think we do. This is a small loose end, either way. Not important, I hope.
So our options are, it must have been Klasha's enemies, which means she's in danger. Maybe Klasha took them herself. Could this be related to the cryptozoologists and their little expedition? Or, I've no idea. Do you have any theories, Lieutenant? Could this be related to the cryptozoologists?
In my experience, cryptids are generally uninterested in travel documentation. We should go.
You could ask the miss what she thinks. Later, if you have the time. Though you doubt she'll tell you much at this point.
Let the empty boy be. I'm just gonna look around over here. There's something that we might encounter. Oh, nothing here. We're going to try once more to trigger the visual calculus orb on the boardwalk, because it really should be up there. It's time now. But if we can't do that for whatever reason right now, we have one other side quest that we can do that isn't time-based, and that's telling Plaisance and Neha about the doomed commercial area. Come on, visual calculus. I do believe we still have the glasses on. You should kick in. Somewhere around here. It should be here, actually. This location specifically. No, doesn't want to do it. That's fine. I'm not going to bang my head against this. Let's go to the doomed commercial area. Might as well wrap that up. Put a bow on it, so to speak. Oh. Well, this is new. My game appears to be entirely frozen. There we go. Hitting escape got us out of it. Check boardwalk for bullet traces. That's what we're trying to do. Oh, right, and we should talk to Renee. Okay, well, let's do that then. Renee?
There. Working class drunk. You know what this means, right?
You're out of sequence authority. We already did that bit. Renee? Renee? How strange. Hey Gaston, where's your friend?
Officer, care to play a game with the lonely old man?
The jolliness is gone from Gaston's face.
Actually, never mind. Wouldn't be the same.
Where is Renee?
The prick is gone. I can barely believe it. But he's really gone.
He is trying to retain his jolly facade, but the underlying sadness casts a deep shadow over his wrinkled face.
Gone? Gone where?
Hell, most likely. He was an absolute cunt.
Was he really that bad?
I repeat, an absolute cunt. Even his old army buddies didn't want him around. He was like an old viper. The only people who could stand to be around him were Jenny and me. She saw something in him when we were just kids and she never lost sight of it. And I thought if the most beautiful being in the world can love him, then there must be something worth holding on to.
Sometimes, that's a good reason. somebody who loves better than I do loves this man, so maybe I should as well. How did he die exactly?
His hungry little heart finally gave out. The dock workers found him in the guard booth this morning. Wasn't even supposed to be working for another week, but he just had to prove how tough he is.
Wait, did he push himself to prove he can pull his weight and doesn't need handouts?
Guess he was about to head home, 'cause when the dock workers found him, he was wearing civilian clothes and not the Kuketu uniform I saw him in all the time. Sometimes I thought he was wearing it just to piss me off. Now the job...
That means the uniform could still be in the guard booth. Something to keep in mind if you really plan to give yourself the Revachol.
Sorry, little early click there. This obviously is good if we're going fascist. I am gonna go get the uniform because we could always use more clothes. But, yeah. Do you think our conversation about his job pushed him to go out there?
No. René was the most stubborn man in Revachol. Nothing you or I could say would ever push him to do anything. The man was completely immovable.
Alright. So it's at least not our fault. Unless you count in the way that, we're initializing events by playing the game at all. Did you love him?
We've hated each other our entire lives. So much, in fact, that...
He falls silent and looks at you, eyes filling up with tears.
Yes, I loved that angry prick. He didn't deserve it, but I did. You know what his last words to me were?
Tell me.
In Guillaume's time, you'd have been shot without trial. That's what he said to me. He lived a cunt, and he died a cunt. Let's leave it at that.
Do you know what happened to his medals?
I took them for myself. Took them to remember that old cunt. Nobody knew him better than I did. And I want to remember that old cunt by something.
Strange how old cunt sounds almost gentle when he says it now.
Yeah, we're really hammering that C word, huh? Here, something to remember your friends by.
Let me see. This was 60 years ago. We all went to that parade. Young René looked so happy, and Jenny...
Eyes blurry with tears. He has to stop.
I'm sorry, officer. I just... Thank you. Thank you for this little memorabilia. It really means the world to me.
That was nice. A small thing for us, but invaluable to him. He probably didn't even know René had the photo.
I offer my sincere condolences.
Yes, we are both very sorry for your loss.
It is what it is. Part of life, really. But to know someone for 79 years, then one day they're just gone. I just don't know anymore. About anything, really. But you must need something.
Too bad René's gone. I was hoping to ask him about Maybells.
René wasn't really what you'd call a botanist, officer. And believe me, he didn't like Insulindian lilies.
Wait, Insulindian lilies?
That's their old name, dating back to the time of kings and crests, and all that other stuff he loved so much.
Why didn't he like them?
There were many reasons, but mostly it was the communards. They called them the Bells of Revolution.
A sad smile passes his face.
I guess in the end, the Insulindian lilies were just another piece of the whole Insulinde. The royalists had to surrender to the Mazovian insurgents. It doesn't really matter anymore.
It's always hard when some other group takes over a symbol that means something to you. That you don't get that meaning back. Think of the swastika, a very important symbol in Hindu and Buddhist traditions, a sign of good luck. And yet, it can never mean that again. Not purely. Looking at it another way, think of the way that current LGBTQ people have used the rainbow and how frustrating that is for homophobes who enjoy spectrums of color for whatever reason. Symbols are weird. Bye for now. I'm gonna go steal your dead friend's uniform. Looking good, guys. Keep it up. On the one hand, it is frustrating how much of this game is set up to make you run around as busy work, but on the other hand, if you don't know the game, it's a pretty important way to prompt the player to explore.
This is the Night Watchman's booth. The name on the door reads, René Arnaud. René left his uniform neatly folded on the table. Take it. It's just there. Who cares? It's not like anyone's gonna need it. Generally speaking, it would be dishonorable to take it. But then, it looks like a military uniform, and wearing that is very honorable. So, a conflict of honor. It's up to you.
As much as our authority skill likes to pretend that there are rules, its conception of honor is very vibes-based. Take the uniform.
I suppose René is not going to be needing it anymore. It's a bit too colorful for my taste, though.
It's, needed for work and all that.
Fantastic. Try not to wear it with other similarly colorful clothes, okay?
Let's have a look. The jacket. Looking great with the Man from Hjelmdal shirt. Gives us a +1 to Revacholian nationhood, which would be important if we were trying to get that thought, but we don't care. The beautifully adorned jacket of the Royal Carabineers has 3 stars on its shoulders and the word Capitaine written on the chest, neatly patched here and there. It's impossible not to feel love for the fatherland when you wear it. And Royal Carabineer pants. +1 to reaction speed, vigilance. These pants are made from synthetic lightweight fiber and designed to let the Carabineers' legs and groin breathe. Red stripes are there to inspire courage, while the golden stripe symbolizes the patriotic flame in the wearer's heart. There we go. Looking very patriotic indeed. Now let's take it off again. Let's see, what do I feel like wearing? And how about this? And why not? No. No, rhetoric is good. We want rhetoric. Yeah, that's fine. Currently sitting at 5 skill points. We've got plenty to play with. Let's go talk to Neha and Plaisance. And I noticed that there's an orb we apparently haven't clicked. Must have popped up at some point. This was the path of the bullet. Now where's that orb? There it is. You hear the sound of running water. Someone's washing dishes. Gary is presumably at home, but we don't actually have the option to go mess with him, much as we might like to. He is no longer needed for this investigation. Plaisance, on the other hand, is.
Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People.
Plaisance, I have something to tell you. I've found the actual source of doom.
What do you mean, the actual source? Are you talking about the third presence?
My investigation has led me to discover a 2mm intraplanetic hole in reality. That's the source of doom, both in the commercial area and in Martinez.
What?
She wasn't expecting this. At least not the word intraplanetic.
A tiny hole in reality. It may be connected with Pale, an origin point of sorts. It would explain why historically so many things have ended in failure here in Martinez. Now, I do want to mention, here in the context of the game and emotionally the way that Harry thinks of these things, the Pale and the intraplanetic hole and all that, they're bad. They're evil. They're negative. But they don't have to be. They could literally just be absorbing information. And if the spectrum of what kind of information they absorb is broad enough, they cause all kinds of failure without having to be quote-unquote bad luck. I mean, think of it like if you're playing solitaire, but every time you blink, someone is messing with your cards. Even if it's just at random, you're going to be more likely to lose. That's what this hole is doing. It's absorbing information from the world around it, from radio transmissions, from people's memories, maybe even the physical qualities of the world, or measurements, or information out of books. It may be what caused the Dick Mullen book to fall apart in our hands. Information is going away, and that makes failure of all sorts more likely. A tiny hole in reality. It may be connected with the Pale, an origin point of sorts. It would explain why historically so many things have ended in failure here in Martinez.
Nam, what he's saying is true. We found an anthroponetic anomaly in the small Pinewood church down the coast. I don't mean to be an alarmist, and more research is needed, but it's not looking good.
But that's not in any of the ancient texts. How am I supposed to protect my bookstore from that?
Even though we're thinking of this hole as evil and bad luck, it's not within her paradigm. She was prepared for demons and bad luck. This is science. She's not prepared for science.
Tell her the truth. It's out of her hands.
So our options are, you can't protect it, not against Pale. Close up the shop and try to get as far away from this thing as possible. Or, you can protect it with hope, by refusing to give up. That's what people have done in the past, by building a church, a place of worship around this thing. Or, you'll have to find your own answer. I've spent too long on this quest as it is. That one's just mean. We're gonna give her hope. A hope in hope itself.
You're right, officer. I mustn't lose faith, especially now that Annette is finally settling in at school and making friends. No, we can't just leave. Besides, didn't I have some Sailite hope catchers round here somewhere? I must find them. Everything will be all right if I can just find them.
Sure. Everything will be all right.
Thank you for your help in any case. You're welcome back here anytime.
Farewell for now. And now we'll talk to Neha. And to get to her, we need the flashlight. Oh, right. St. Matisse Preptide. This bright orange medicine bottle declares the brand name Preptide in a sunny, happy manner. Someone has lost the bottle, but who cares? Actually, do we have the option to check this bag? We might be able to if we have a high enough perception. Is that... Nope. We actually don't have the option. That's fine. Creepy as always. Love it. Oh. Get back here. I want that orb. Is this Emma's atelier? Actually, while we're triggering random orbs, is there one over here? Nope. Okay. Let's put our flashlight away.
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a die?
Just in case there's anything here I've missed. I have more questions about this building.
I'm listening.
Nope, we got all of
Good.
these.
I hope it clarified things a bit. What else?
I think I found the actual source of the curse.
You mean the curse that I'm spared of because I live outside its immediate reach?
It's a bit more complicated than I first thought it would be.
I'm listening.
There's a 2mm hole in reality, located in a church on the other side of the canal. I think it may be related to Pale.
Excuse me? A 2mm hole in reality? This can't be true.
I'm afraid it is, ma'am. Sona Lukanen killed the former lead programmer of Fortress Accident, made the discovery.
This is where it helps to have a straight-laced partner like Kim with us. He's backing us up, and quite frankly, I don't think either Plaisance or Neha would believe us without Kim corroborating our testimony. Nor should they.
Sona is involved in this?
She appears to take this in while the chatter from her headphones continues unabated.
So it's even worse than I thought. It's not just the commercial area that's cursed, it's the entire world.
She looks outside the window where daylight has filled the yard.
So we could say, but no, I wouldn't go so far as to say the entire world is doomed. It's what I have preached the whole time, and no one listened. This is the Apocalypse Cop version. Don't worry about it. You've been doing fine so far. I'm sure it's nothing. Or say nothing. Now, I'm going to say there is hope.
Just Martinez?
She gives you a rueful smile and takes a look around.
In any case, thank you for stopping by. It's good to have an answer, even if I can't claim to understand it fully.
Now, as I've said, the different timelines created by different playthroughs of Disco Elysium affect the possible future of Revachol. And with the influence of our character, it extends far beyond this one murder. Discovering the hole in reality, addressing it, doing a science at it, that has huge implications for the future of this world. Think of it similar to the discovery of anthropogenic climate change, perhaps. If you just kept burning fossil fuels and didn't realize why the air was getting worse and why storms were getting stronger, you might create a climate apocalypse without ever addressing it. Now, at least, you know what's going on, and you have a fighting chance. This is the impact that we have on this world. Maybe. Okay. So rather than just go back to the boardwalk and mess around waiting for our visual calculus to remember what it's supposed to be doing, I think we'll go talk to Titus. It's possible he might have something more to say to us. Just gonna take that out of our hands. No sense in shining it in people's faces if we don't have to.
It's you again. What is it?
He makes us wait while he gets into position. That's a power move right there. I talked to Klaja. Now I need to talk to Ruby.
Why?
He leans back and regards you with curiosity. So our options are, because she's your real leader, I'm gonna level with you. She's the next link in the chain that leads me to Lily's killer. I have seen her in a laudanum-induced delirium. The paranormal instinct whispers her name into my ear. Look, I need to pin this on someone, and I've decided to pin this on her. I suspect she killed the victim. That's why. A civil war is brewing, and the only way to prevent it is to solve the murder. That means talking to Ruby. She is a suspect in another case I'm investigating, a drug smuggling. Some of these are more true than others. But let's be upfront. I suspect she killed the victim.
Sounds like you want to push this steaming pile of shit on anyone. And now you pick Ruby. Well, not on my watch you won't.
It's worth noting, Titus supposedly is in charge of maintaining law and order and the safety of the people of Martinez, and he and his group of Hardy Boys have spent a week evidently not concerned with who it is that's taking random pot shots through windows at people. Great work, Titus.
Ruby's one of us. We're not gonna throw her under your moral intern steamroller. Fuck that shit.
And fuck you too, moral
He throws a glance at Titus as the last syllable leaves his lips. The big guy sighs.
Ruby is missing. If you hide from the police in a murder investigation, you become a suspect. You know how it works, guys.
That's nothing. That's just legalese. You don't even have a sound theory. I don't want to be rude, but we're trying to get some R&R here. Think you could fuck off now?
I think we'll keep sticking around, Titus. You'll be surprised at how quickly a theory presents itself if you keep looking.
That's the game's hint that we'd get bonuses to this check if we did all of the investigation stuff. We've already done all the investigation stuff, and we are very high. Come on, show it to people. I would prefer it if it popped up in the way that it did initially when I moused over it. No. Okay, TLDR, we did a bunch of plot stuff, so now we've got a very good chance of getting this. Boom.
A sudden flash of lightning in your neocortex. The hostel cafeteria is lit by its airy blaze. Floor plans, bullet trajectories, webs of human emotion, all channeled into a single thought.
Why are you so sure Ruby didn't off him?
Because she was here, all night, with us.
Pretty solid alibi.
He's cobbling together shit so he can put her away. It's Cop 101.
She was here all night? 11:30 to 12:15? She was here during all that time?
Yeah, with us, drinking, near the stage there.
She didn't go to the toilet?
No.
That's a lie.
You know that's not the case.
All right. She took a fucking leak, okay? For one moment. Maybe went out too. She has an operation to run from her lorry. We're not getting into what that operation is again, Cop. And just 'cause she was gone for 5 minutes doesn't mean she magically got to the roof and shot him. I've been through this. It's not plausible.
He's been through it. That means he's suspected her too. All right, we're in. We got Ruby unaccounted for sometime during the window. This was crucial. Now let's place her on that roof.
You do agree the shot came from the roof, right?
Why not? You can't draw a straight line into Clausia's window from any of the surrounding buildings. Not from what I know about Martinez. Maybe from the coast. But like I said, I've been too busy dealing with you idiots. So no, I don't think it was a sniper. It was close up.
There's a 72% chance that the bullet came from the roof.
72%. There's a percentage and all. Where'd you get it from? Your guys in the lab?
Definitely lie. The truth is not credible.
This is not technically a lie. We have a ballistics lab in Quran we consult in cases like these. I mean, we consult in cases like these. We didn't necessarily do it this time.
Wouldn't hurt to have one of those in Martinez. Still, all the labs in the world don't put her on that roof. How'd she get there? Climb?
There's a secret route in the kitchen. Leads straight to the roof.
How?
Through what looks like an abandoned pinball workshop.
People say there was a pinball arcade here, sometime before the hostel. What was it called, Theo?
East Delta Pinball Arcade. Weird place. Went bankrupt.
Okay, but how'd she get up? There's no room for a staircase in this building. Or an elevator, for that matter.
The elevator is outside the building. It's an old dumbwaiter used for moving pinball machines up and down from the workshop.
From there, door leads straight to the roof. You can just step outside.
Ruby could have gone up, shot him, come down. All under 7 minutes.
That's quite the theory. We need to have a look at that secret passage, boys.
I'm on it, boss. Right when the law clears, me and Angus are going up there.
Yeah, they're not going to move around while we, the player, are watching. But don't worry, they're in theory going to do it when the camera isn't on them. We'll allow this.
It's a dumbwaiter, not an industrial lift. How about I go instead of...
Just now. You got something else to back this route up? Or is that it?
I also found footprints upstairs in the old workshop.
Footprints? Recent?
He looks tough, but there is a nervous twitch in his dark green eye. This is all too close to home for him. The tracks were recent, but not worn down in the right foot like Ruby's. It's best to omit this pesky little polemic for now. Too confusing.
Recent. Size about 43.
43 is pretty large for a girl, don't you think? But then Ruby's what you call a butch girl. She's no daffodil.
Yeah, but that's what's so cool about her. It's why we've been thinking...
I know what you've been thinking, Glenn. We'll talk about it. Once the murder charges have been cleared.
You'll recall when we first tapped against the idea of an 8th Hardy boy, who was a girl, Glenn was the one who was thinking that she should be added to the group formally. Which is in contradiction to what Claudia thinks. You'll remember she said that Ruby is considered the leader of the group. But I guess that's what you would see from the outside if you brought in a consultant who then told everyone what to do. In the end, it amounts to the same thing, doesn't it? Well, unless you put a lot of stock into alpha male posturing and leadership of who tells who to do what?
Titus, you're not really saying...
He's thinking, all right. Glenn gets silence for an answer. Push forward with this theory.
Well, guess what? Remember that key I found here?
I don't like guessing, Cole. No one does.
I mean, I do, but I'm a trivia head.
It opens the steel door in the kitchen, the one that leads upstairs to the roof. This key was right here, with you, all the time.
You didn't find it, but Ruby did. That's how she got up there.
Quit jumping to conclusions, Theo. You took that key. Did it look like it was recently put there?
No, the ribbon was old, faded. It had been there for 20 years at least.
She could have just put it back there once she was done.
Why? This doesn't make sense. It's damn interesting, but it doesn't fit well, and you know it.
It doesn't fit well, but it fits. Andy knows it.
A lot of this other stuff is irrelevant. Have we firmly established Ruby could have had access to the shop where the man was... Pardon me? Have we firmly established Ruby could have had access to the roof where the man was shot?
Firmly doesn't go well with could've. There's a route to the roof. Me and the boys need to check it out. That's what we've established.
I will give him credit. He's approaching this correctly. We've got possibilities. We don't have anything firm.
But a route does not put that bullet in his head. A gun does that, and Ruby doesn't carry one.
Phase 2. Murder weapon. Get a gun in her hand. If not that, then at least a shadow of a doubt. In the shape of a gun. Just don't contradict yourself. If it doesn't sound like Ruby did it, maybe keep it to yourself. But what if you miss interesting information that way? The choice is ultimately yours. But
we're trying to convince Titus that Ruby could have done it in order to get him to give us her location, which we assume he has. But we're also convincing ourselves, and we're paving over any evidence that doesn't quite fit. It's not necessarily incorrect, but it isn't quite forthcoming. Still, Titus has certainly not been forthcoming with us. Show them the antique rifle. There are weapons like this just lying around in Martinez.
That looks antique. A Belle McGrave. It's inoperable. Where'd you get it?
There's a cellar under the bookshop. It was hidden there with others just like it.
20, maybe 30 rifles, Titus. Also broken, but still, there were too many. And there must be other caches too.
Someone who's mechanically inclined, when presented with 30 broken rifles, could probably assemble one working rifle.
God damn it. We need to close that dump down for good.
Okay, I see your point. There are guns lying around. Damn it. I thought we'd found all the old spots. Why was that still there?
We just missed one. Ruby doesn't know this place, boss. Just these cops digging up shit.
I have analyzed the bullet that killed him. It was jacketed.
So...
The man shrugs and looks at you.
So it had to come from a breech-loading rifle. Military grade. Not even you militia monkeys have those. This goes against your short-range theory. If the murder weapon was military grade, how did Ruby get it?
you just showed him a breech-loading gun.
I just showed you a breech loader that any child could have.
A broken old broomstick is what you showed me. But point taken.
He nods.
Time to really close the deal. Show them the bullet.
This is the bullet that did it. 4.46 millimeter. The Belle McGrave uses the same caliber.
The blonde man looks at the mushroomed Deathbringer in the evidence bag and says,
Yeah, the bitch is jacketed all right. 4 millimeter too.
Whoa.
Well, goddamn. It's not proof, but it's a possible murder weapon. Close to her. Too damn close. You have been thorough. I'll give you that.
Alright. The rest of these don't help us. I didn't say I'd prove she had the murder weapon, just that we need to find her.
All right. Keep talking. I'm getting a bit curious about some things myself.
T, we're not seriously considering it, are we? Ruby wouldn't do this. Why would she do something like this?
Phase 3. Motive. The last component.
It's not, why did she kill him? It's, why did she organize the cover-up?
And I suppose you have a theory on that.
She could have just been covering up for herself, Titus.
Think about it. Why go through all that effort? It was her idea, wasn't it? The hanging. You went along, but she suggested it.
She had, like, a fully formed plan and shit. Right when she came back downstairs.
Really, Shanks? Claudia wanted to talk to another girl, that's all. She was just the first one up there. I could have come up with that plan if I'd have been first.
To be fair, it's a plan that only works if the bullet hits Lily in exactly the right way.
Time for a logics demonstration.
Alright, Titus, let's assume you killed him.
You're on thin ice here, asshole.
It's a thought exercise, Titus. Think. You kill him, get up there, shoot him, get down.
Would you prefer to go on trial with your men as part of a lynch mob, or alone for cold-blooded murder?
Alone. I don't drag my men into shit with me.
If she used us, then that's a serious violation of the Hardy Code, boss.
But she didn't. She would never do that. Why aren't more of you defending her? This is fucking stupid, Titus.
Glenn, I thought the same thing when she skipped town and left us in this shit.
Oh, so he didn't rule her out completely. And she skipped town. This is good.
Clash had told me some pretty interesting things about Ruby.
Yeah. Like what?
Apparently she had a thing for Clash.
A thing? You mean?
He tilts his head to the side and falls silent.
Behind his squinting eyes, dominoes are falling. Fast. It's all beginning to make sense to him now.
Yeah, but they're both girls.
The fat man looks up from the table, oblivious.
Girls like girls too, Angus, sometimes. This is one of those times. She liked Glacier.
So our options are, I know, it's bewildering for me too, but that's what she said. Come on, guys, she hangs out with you meatheads. This cannot come as a surprise. It's supernatural, a reality-breaking event, and we just need to accept it. It's scary, yes. She probably went to a university and learned it from a liberal. Or just what Kim said. We're not going to talk over actually canonically homosexual voices. What Kim said.
Fuck you. First he says she's murdered him. Now she's a too? It's a lie.
Come on, Glenn. She likes Monica's titties more than you do. Everyone knows which way the wind blows there.
I did. I knew it. That's why she didn't fuck me at Fatty's birthday party.
She didn't fuck you, 'cause you're 40, and you still live with your mom, Dennis.
Light laughter sounds off in the room. It feels nervous. Clash has said she made advances on her, and she thwarted them.
Ruby then threatened her and told her to end her relationship with the deceased.
This is some sordid shit. It's also the kind of garbage our Miss Aronier puts out to cover her own ass.
True. It's easy to accuse someone of that kind of thing when they're not present to defend themselves.
Sort of, but he doesn't have to know that.
She just told us. Ruby made her scared and she spilled the beans.
That Ruby is queer as cabaret. Now that I start thinking about it, I don't know why I didn't see it earlier.
He looks out the window, pensively. He probably hasn't looked in the cab of her truck.
And that's okay. Some are queerer than others. You can still be a Hardy. But if you bring your own personal shit into our outfit.
And then, boss, use us to cover it up? I mean, that's just fucked up.
If it's true. But it's not, right?
When Klasha came downstairs, Ruby appeared to know that something was wrong.
Nah, man. That's just Ruby. She's got shit under control. That's her whole thing. That's why she's so good.
Plus, man, it's like female intuition, you know. Women talk to women. Which is sort of why we need someone on the team who they talk to.
This is true. It helps matters to have a diverse force when dealing with the general public.
Eugene wants a woman on the team so they can do their job. That must be hard. Half of Martinez is female.
Or she knew what happened because she killed him.
Not so useful.
Titus looks at Elaine, then Eugene.
Fucking hell.
The blonde man is in some kind of anguish that makes him stare into his garlic bread bowl intently. Titus, you have to see it. Things don't add up. We need to talk to her.
Silence. He looks around the room. The old man in the corner nods. A very small nod. And a trickle of tobacco spit on his lip.
Yeah, I see it. There's one more thing I've been wondering about. Ever since you asked me where she is. Add it to your list of suspicions, if you want. I don't know where she went. She just got up and left. Got real scared, too. Wouldn't tell me where. However hard I asked. Want to know why?
Why?
She was afraid I would tell you. Maybe she was right. By now, I probably would.
She knew there's evidence on her, and she knew we'd find it. This is typical suspect behavior, why fleeing is always incriminatory.
Perhaps. Ask her if you find her. It won't be easy, though. She made sure of that.
When did she leave?
Friday afternoon, when you first arrived. I got word the RCM was in town. Then she came in to see me. Told me she was leaving. That's when we had our little conversation.
What was she scared of?
I told you. You.
Me, as in the RCM?
No, you. As in the cop with the sideburns and the disco clothes.
I'm sorry. God, why does everything flee at the sight of my shadow? She probably knew me from my singing days. No wonder she's afraid. I have come to declare the ending of the human experiment. These, of course, are different thoughts. Boring cop, sorry cop, superstar, apocalypse. Those really don't matter. Let's go superstar.
Yeah, that's real funny. She wasn't laughing, though.
He looks at you.
You know, when I first saw you limping here, I thought she was paranoid or sniffing her own supply. But now I'm not so sure.
What else did Ruby tell you about me?
She said you have a funny taste in clothes, and that you won't stop.
Won't stop?
Until you have something on her. She said she's heard of you from Jamrock, that you're a human can opener, that you play suspects against each other, open them up, like cans.
It would be kind of hard to open cans by using them against each other, but whatever.
And then when they're all empty, just move onto the next can. Don't look back unless there was something you missed.
Fucking hell. Titus, did he just...
Open Angus up like a can? Yes, he did. Now, we can whine about it, whack him, or we can go on with our lives. I'm having a go on with our lives kind of day, Al. How about you?
Silence. He nods.
Is that true, Kim? Am I a can opener?
You are insistent.
Anything else? Anything?
Yeah, there was something else. She wouldn't tell me, though. I could see she wanted to. It was burning on her lips. This cop, Titus, this cop, but she was too scared.
Ruby knows something about us that we don't know about ourselves. And Titus doesn't know what it is.
Everard has a file on you, but that's bogus. What she knows comes from somewhere else, from Jamrock. It must be real stuff.
Do you have any clues on where Ruby went?
She's not far. We know that much. She didn't take her lorry, so she's on foot.
Good fucking luck, man. She knows this place like the back of her hand. You'll never find her.
Yeah, Al, and we won't either.
She's not really a hardy candidate anymore, is she?
She's not, Glenn.
Have you looked for her?
A little. On the coast.
Where have you looked for her, more precisely?
More precisely, on the coast, past the waterlock. She's not here, so I'm thinking she's there.
Who's doing this looking? They're all here.
You're all here. Who's out looking?
Lizzie needed some air.
So she didn't go to tell Everard.
No one goes to tell Everard anything. He knows what he has to know. Fast.
It's called a radio, you believe. The gardener may have played you a game when she stormed out. She has her own plan.
Can you tell me where on the coast I should start looking?
Sure. There are some shit houses there. A cinder block town. Fisherfolk there refuse to unionize. So, that's one place we haven't looked. I hear they have a shack where junkies sometimes crash. Time for you to step up.
Alright, now we should be able to look under our floorboards.
We will start there. One more question. What does Ruby look like?
This is actually surprisingly important. Although, I'm not going to tell you why until we actually do meet her.
Boyish. Hair's red. Dyed. She looks like a Lowry man.
Do you know what she's doing with ULAN frequencies?
The what now? I have no idea. Boys?
She said she's building a pale emitter.
Fat Angus is the radio guy of the group. And, in our girl from Helmdall deduction, he was running the snuff radio station. But he's not that bright, to be honest. And this might be slightly wrong. It's not a pale emitter. That's not a thing you build. Well, we'll see what it is. Eventually.
What?
We were talking about radio equipment. She said she's doing ULAN frequencies and a pale something. I don't know more.
This guy barely understands what he's talking about.
Thank you, Logic.
There you have it. Pale something.
Titus puts an end to it. It's not much, but it'll do.
It'll have to.
He puts his hand out. Now, even though we know what he's been up to, Harry doesn't. And unless that DLC magically materializes someday, he can't and he won't. So we have no reason not to shake his hand.
His grip is firm and reassuring, like holding a piece of unpolished granite. You know, I don't usually do this. I just measure things, but...
You said it would be nice to have a ballistics lab. You could use ours.
No, we're good.
He lets go of your hand.
Why not? You could turn the thing into an actual police force. Afraid you would actually have to follow the law?
Rich boy law is a sham. It only works for the Wild Pines, lady. So keep your lab and watch your ass out there. The coast is a dangerous place for lawmen, especially Mr. Can Opener here.
True indeed. Alright. Let's head on back. And there might be something over here, actually. So there is. Hi, Joyce. What are you doing over here?
I'll
I'll just keep the Corda Lacey in the channel, if that's okay. It's too shallow near the pier.
She winds the mooring line around a post.
Hi, ma'am. And it's a jetty, by the way. Of course. Jetty. I prefer a good jetty to a pier any day. Jetty?
Something about the way she says it makes you want to sing.
Jettity jetty.
Oh, jetty, oh, jetty.
She responds mournfully.
It's good to see you here, detectives. I only just arrived myself.
I know. We triggered your plot point.
What brings you here, madame?
Nothing, really. I've had my eye on this jetty for weeks now, so I decided to investigate it personally. This cluster of buildings isn't on any of the official maps, as far as I can tell.
That. And she's also keeping an eye on you.
Have you been spying on us?
Spying has such a negative connotation. I did track your progress along the coast, however, and decided I would be better able to assist you from here.
Also, you did a commendable job backing into position and not hitting that iceberg.
Then there's the matter of that little scamp in old lady clothes. She threatened to paint the Corda Lacey red. Like blood, you see. Well, I like it the way it is. White.
So how do you like it here?
How do I like it?
She casts her gaze toward the village. Slush melting on the cinder blocks. Construction work left half-finished 10 years ago.
Water drips down eaves of Eternite. The jetty below her feet creaks to the tune. The smell of salt and dog shit in the background.
It's pornographically poor. The street has no name. All the men are dead or missing. And is that the carcass of a motor carriage over there?
She squints her eyes.
I'm surprised that woman hasn't put me to the sword yet. Maybe she will. You should ask your questions while you can.
Dark eyes survey the coast leading up to Martinez. Dull grey metal rests in her scabbard. A sword. The wind is too loud for her to hear.
Fortunately for you, madame, the RCM is on the scene.
All right. Politics time. Let's react.
Yep. Politics. So our options are, you're right to be scared. This is all your fault. Which is to say, accusing her of creating poverty by being rich. You're in no danger. The working class have no idea what's happening to them. Try not to be scared. This is just how the real city looks. The place is doomed either way. Or say nothing. I don't want to be this confrontational with her. And this? No, I don't believe it. We're just gonna say nothing.
She could easily just...
She leans against the railing, looking up at the gray sky.
Above you, there forms a quilt of altocumulus clouds, twisting into each other. The wind tugs and stretches them over the bay. Their cloud shadows slide over the ruins of Revachol West. Wherever they pass, the temperature drops slightly, but perceptibly.
Have I told you how they discovered this place?
The wind picks up. Her raincoat flaps in the gust. This Isola?
Yes. In Cielinde.
No, you haven't told me how they found it.
Well, your condition has left you no worse off than most of these people. The literacy rate is around 45% west of the river. 50 years of occupation have left these people in an oblivion of poverty.
45% is around where I operate. Things are getting better, though.
I knew you would sympathize. Most Revacholians will never know what this place means. Our home. This island of matter. Or why they were ferried over in the first place. Remind me to tell you one day. For now, how can I assist you in this new location?
Tell me something else, then.
Of course. I hear you have singled out a suspect and are in pursuit. This is cause for cautious optimism. How can I help you at this juncture?
Well, that's all for now. Alright. Now we might be able to get the floorboards. Come on, game. Trigger the thing. well. Hey, Sadie.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with?
Have you seen a red-haired woman named Ruby around the coast?
Nay, I haven't seen anyone lately.
Because she's blind, which you seem to have forgotten.
Okay, but do you know who I'm talking about?
This is my little cinder block town. I know what goes on around here.
She's being evasive. She knows something.
There was a murder in Martinez. She might be a suspect. We would appreciate your help.
Would you now? I know how this world works, and it doesn't work when people tell on each other.
This is like when that man locked himself in the woodshed. We just need to help her come out.
No, it's not like that, man. With him, we called you. Right now, you just arrived by yourself, like a raven plucking at the window glass.
You know something, but you've decided not to tell us.
There's not much to tell. People come and go. Now, was there something else?
I see, ma'am. I hope you don't mind if we look around anyway.
You should look around your shack. Maybe she's rented it out to others too.
Okay, now maybe. There it is.
As you look at the floorboards in this corner of the shack, it's clear one of them isn't quite level with the others. The edge of a floorboard next to it looks scratched.
Move the board aside.
Hollow space underneath the floorboards is dark and damp. You can barely make out the mixture of sand and sawdust below.
What's in here?
Nothing particular catches your eye. Looks like more reeds. There might be something hidden inside the sand, though. Something bad. Someone's night thoughts. A last resort. A bad idea.
Search through the sand and sawdust.
You stick your hand in and start combing through the sand. Dry, not like outside. Fine dust. And then something hard wrapped in paper.
What is it?
A small cylindrical object. You pull it out. A bullet. A 9mm bullet, to be exact. Fit for all muzzle loaders of that caliber.
This bullet isn't for a breech loader like the murder weapon?
The floorboard isn't interested. Maybe the washerwoman is. You have enough to confront her with. It's extra ammunition. She's locked and loaded, ready to fight some cops.
A little stash. One bullet. And now, we can see. We've got 2 bullets.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with?
Why was there a bullet under the floorboards of your shack?
Damn that girl.
She murmurs softly.
And without anger. A long and harsh life has taught her not to buckle under pressure.
A bullet?
The lieutenant turns to you and gives you a little nod, then turns to the washerwoman.
You didn't put it there, did you? She did.
Gone and hid things in there? She's usually a good tenant, and not a stupid one either.
You rented the room to her?
Yes, I let my room to that Ruby girl.
She speaks slowly, wringing out a rag after a long silence. Her hands move into the water bucket. Some water sloshes over the edge.
As I've done before when she's been in trouble or just looking for solitude. I've made it clear. We welcome all kinds of people here.
When was this?
She came last Friday, left on Monday in a hurry. What has she gotten herself into, that girl?
That's for the police to find out. Right then, please answer each question to the best of your ability. I'm sure we have a few.
You said she left on Monday?
Yes, early with the dogs, around 8 o'clock, I think.
She probably heard the lieutenant's Kanema drive by, and it woke her up, just like it did you.
Alternately, the night before, she would have had direct line of sight to our car, jumping the canal and then crashing. And she would have seen us, the human can opener, drunk, stumbling around, yelling about the apocalypse and about women. Maybe. Kim, she must have heard your kinema.
Yes. That is a downside of having a 130 kilowatt engine. It lets the bad guys know when you are coming.
His voice is tinged with pride. Is the room exactly as she left it?
I cleaned it, like I always do.
Was there anything else there?
No.
The truth, sire.
What is she like, Ruby?
She's good company. Knows how to talk to an old woman. At my age, you don't get a lot of quality conversation. So I really appreciate that about her.
Left unspoken is whether or not her conversations with us are quality.
Did she talk to you much during her last day?
No, she was mostly silent this time. Kept to herself.
What do you mean?
She tried not to let it show, but I could tell she hadn't come to fish. Usually she likes to cast a few lines, but this time she mostly stayed in her room.
Why do you think she left the bullet there?
How would I know? She's a gruff one, but not violent. She doesn't go around toting a gun.
She looks back toward her shack, thinking.
You could ask her about your hunch, that it was a desperate measure. See if she thinks Ruby fits the bill.
I have a possible explanation in my mind.
Aye. Do tell.
A seagull flies overhead, obviously a bad omen. It's an exit plan.
Exit from what?
This.
The lieutenant stops writing for a moment. He looks at you, then at the old woman.
This is possibly an insight that Harry has because of his own suicidal tendencies. There are some people for whom this is a corner of their mind they never visit, if it even exists at all. But Harry has very much contemplated and toyed with the idea of exit.
No, she's a fighter.
She tilts her head to the side, looking up at you, deep in thought.
She really believes that.
Some people assume that not having suicidal thoughts is a matter of strength, fighting the world. But sometimes strength is what allows you to overcome things like the instinct to not cut off your arm if it's pinned with a boulder, or not pulling the trigger if you think it's better on the other side. Rough stuff. Strength allows you to do all kinds of things. I heard she was a heavy drinker with anger issues. You ever witnessed that kind of behavior?
Nothing of the sort. Sure, she was no stranger to the bottle. She fit in that way. But I only knew her to have a beer on the beach while watching the sunset. She isn't what you'd call a drunk. Even offered me some from time to time. Said it was part of the communal life. But I never saw her lose control of herself the way some people do.
Did she have any technical equipment with her, like radio stuff?
Not that I knew of, though she was into nice music. She once showed me a few mixtape milieux she'd made.
She brushes her forehead with the back of her hand. Water drips to the ground.
Although I guess she was pretty handy with the mechanical and technical stuff. Even fixed the heater in the shack. You should be thankful for that.
She may simply have kept the equipment elsewhere.
Where did she go?
I don't know. Further up the coast. She tried to leave quietly, but the hinges on that door screeched like a cat in heat. Woke me up. I heard her rushing in those heavy boots, heading up north.
It's a peninsula. She might be trapped.
You'll never find her, you know. She knows the coast like the back of her hand. You only just arrived.
I wouldn't worry about that, ma'am. We are persistent.
Yeah, took us like a dozen tries to look at that floorboard.
This is a cool moment. It needs a cool thing to be said.
Savoir-faire wants us to say, let's rock with our cock. No. Further up the coast we go, then.
Are you sure you would rather stay here? Get a nice cozy fire going in the heater? Seems like a better idea to me.
No, you can do it. You still have plenty of juice in you before you drop. Behind the cinder block houses, old pre-war ruins rise to the sky like dark palaces. The wind calls.
I'm off.
One thing, officer. If you do find her, please go easy on her.
She looks around. The air is getting colder.
She's a good girl. Whatever she's gotten herself mixed up in.
Well, I certainly intend to help her out. There's one check in particular we need to make to save Ruby. Not that we know that yet. Let's talk to Lillian.
Aye, the sea's gonna calm down soon, I can feel it. The wind is turning southeast. What's on your mind, officer?
I'm looking for someone. Maybe you can help?
Let's see. Who are you looking for?
I'm looking for a suspect who might have stayed in this neighborhood.
Okay. When did this person stay here?
Very recently, over the past few days. She might have arrived on Friday.
Oh. I've been out on the sea for most of the past week. The weather's been good for fishing, so I usually start at 4 in the morning.
Really?
Yes, that's the optimal time. Got to make the most of the calm. I've been sleeping like a corpse after. The sea really takes its toll. Now I'm just waiting for the wind to settle to get out there again. Sorry I couldn't help you out. Maybe I can help you find someone else.
I'm not looking for anyone else right now.
Well, how can I assist you then, officer?
Be seeing you. You know who else might have seen her? Maybe we'll talk to the drunks.
Tequila Sunset.
He nods in appreciation. Have you seen a red-haired woman named Ruby around here lately?
Can't really remember seeing any women after losing my keys.
He really has no idea who this Ruby is, sire.
Fair enough. And we know the other two are useless. Let's try one more time to get that B prime location on the boardwalk. It really should just pop up if you're in the right spot. Somewhere around here. Well, I know another thing that our subconscious is going to incorrectly assume might have been a vantage point. This here. There's a slit in the concrete here. A sewer? That's strange. It's not letting us click it. And we've got all our perception stuff on. Oh, what the heck. Let's talk to Tran.
Hello again.
I'm looking for a suspect. Have you seen anyone suspicious around?
No, I'm afraid I can't help you with this one, officer. It's just a regular day off for me and Mikhail here.
He pats his son's head.
So you haven't seen anyone around?
No, I'm sorry. As I said, this is just a day off. We just arrived anyway.
You've been here for multiple days, Trant. but we're not gonna poke at the fourth wall too much.
He's telling the truth. He hasn't seen anyone.
Fair enough.
You see a once bright mural towering above you. The signage has peeled off over the years, but you can still make out Feld Electrical R&D. A slogan used to intertwine with the loops a long time ago. Now, only a shadow of peeled letters remains. It says, "Tomorrow is just a whisper away."
Tomorrow is just a whisper away.
Looks like tomorrow never came.
Step closer.
Above the mural, a collapsed roof, broken windows set in walls that are cracking and will soon also fall, and the coastal breeze rustling and sighing in the remains of the edifice. Feld Electrical. How ironic. All these dark rooms. Feld Electrical, you only know them as a small company that makes ink cartridges. Looks like they used to be big. There's something in the wind. Sometimes the only way to go forward is to fail first.
Very true. Especially when it's actually written that way on purpose. Why do I feel like I know this place?
Indeed. Somehow you knew it was here. An urban ruin gutted by looters that once used to consume money and dispense warmth and light. You felt it before when it rained in Martinez, and you felt the cold of the rain. The feeling persists. It has been in you ever since.
Could Ruby be in there?
In there? She could. Or she could be in the identical room over there, or in that boat shack. In that church tower, maybe.
Why single out this one building?
Listen to the wind. Come on, pop up above. I want to show all the things. Okay, well anyway, like a lot of other plot important checks, this one is very high because we've done a bunch of plot things that I assure you exist. Man, he just doesn't want to behave today. It's bucking like a bronco under me. How about this? There we go. Now we can see everything. This gives us all the bonuses from all of the side quests we've already done. Found the empty trap, because we did all the Insulindian Phasmid stuff. Heard Lena's true story, because she told us how she thought she may have made it up. Reconstructed execution. Remember, we did the visual calculus check on the firing squad wall. Made that awful call. We actually made a phone call to our ex-wife. Established the nightclub and discovered the anomaly. That's the most recent bit we did. The death notification that we gave to Billy Mejean. And found the jacket. Washed all the seagull shit off of it. All of these things that we didn't have to do, that the game gives you as a way to come back and try this check over and over and over again. Even if, like me, you only put 1 point into your physique, and therefore your shivers should be very low. That's how the game is built. I appreciate that. You know, when it works the way it should.
Even though you're sure you succeeded, all is quiet. There is no cold hand brushing against your forehead, no rustle in the reeds. The wind has died down. The ruin in front of you is silent as a tomb.
What was I even attempting to do here?
Trying to talk to the wind. The city, whatever you thought would happen, did not. And now you're just standing there with your hands fallen to your side. Is trying to talk to the city something you've done before? Is it in your secret repertoire? A trick for when you're out of ideas?
Yes. Yes, it is. Harry, in his life before this game, has talked to the world spirit of Revachol. Maybe on a conscious level, maybe just on a subconscious level, and she has guided him to solve her many problems. She could be anywhere. How do we find her?
How do we? I was really hoping she'd be in the village. Okay. She's probably north of the village, and this place is a peninsula. We already scanned most of the outdoor areas on our wild cryptid hunt, so we have an understanding of the geography, at least. And then there's the church. We've already searched that and can rule it out. I know it doesn't feel like progress, but exclusion is a step too. Anyway, we do it the old-fashioned way, sector by sector. Go over the whole peninsula, ask the locals, enter the places where we can enter first, like we did in the village.
And if that fails? If we don't find her?
Then, if we're desperate, we can look where we can't enter. Bunkers, storm drainage, this place. I'm sure it won't come to that.
He looks behind him at the dark red box crumbling across the chasm.
Walk the coast, the old boardwalk, the reeds. You can always come back here and talk to the wind again. Look where it already got you. An adventure awaits. An adventure on the windswept urban coast.
An adventure indeed awaits. There's still more that we have to do. And hopefully the EXE file is going to behave a little better after 7 days of rest. And a couple of reboots of this machine. But for the time being, I'd like to thank you all for joining me. Like I said, we're on the main plot here. And it's only a matter of time before we find Ruby. And we see what fate has in store for her. And for us. And for Revachol. I don't know what fate has in store for me personally. That's not something I get to see. And not something that you get to see for yourself either. But if all goes according to plan, if all our dice rolls turn out the way they should, I'll see you back here in 7 days. Thanks for joining me. And have yourself a good week.